Welcome to the Craig Mostyn Group 15-minute learning. IT training designed for the Craig Mostyn Group by Tiles. In today's session, we're going to have an introduction to using PDF and Adobe to save you time, paper, print costs, storage and office space. So here we have created a PDF form, and to do this we just created an ordinary Microsoft Word document and then saved it as a PDF. So imagine we're opening this PDF from an email, or you've saved it already, you've saved an attachment, and we're just going to open the form to fill it out. So the PDF opens in the Adobe Reader, and you'll see that we've just got some text here. This isn't any special sort of form. It is just a normal document with text on it. Over on the right hand side, you see we've got this section called Tools. If I click on Tools, it toggles tools on and off. And if I click on Fill and Sign, we will get an option to add text and signatures, which is what we're going to do today. So first of all, we're going to add text, and we're going to add text where it asks us in the fields on the form. So you can see the cursor. I'm going to click just above the line and start to fill out the form. First name, second name, address, address again, and the last thing it's asking us to do is sign. So you can see that I've got an option here called Place Signature. I've already saved a signature, and I'll tell you how to do that later. So now I'm just going to say Place Signature, put my signature on the form, and we're ready to go. So it's completely filled out. I can go File and Save, and save the document. You see it says signed after it now on the file name. That's just so you know that it's signed off. And if I want to, from here I can send the file directly from Outlook. And that's all there is to it. You can then send that off to the person that you want to receive it. That's your form, fully signed, fully filled out, no printing involved, no saving in filing cabinets or anything else. How do you save your signature into Adobe? Well, you get a blank piece of paper and you sign it. And then you scan the paper signature to yourself. Open the email attachment. So with the page open and your signature visible on the screen, you can use the Microsoft Snippet program to cut out a picture of your signature. Here's the snippet icon on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to click on that and say New, and draw around the signature, and then I can say File, Save As, and there's all sorts of nice pictures I've saved already, and we're going to save this one as my signature and save. Well, now I've opened the PDF form that I wish to sign, and I've got to go into my Fill and Sign area within the tools and select Place Signature. Now when I select that, it's going to ask me, well, how do I want to use a signature? Do I just want to draw it? Do I want to use just plain text so I can type one in? But in this case, we're using a real signature, so I'm going to use an image. And then I'm going to go and browse and look for the image that we stored earlier. I stored that under the folder Pictures, and as you can see, there's the file My Signature. So I select this one and say Open. It displays a representation of the signature on the screen, so you can check that it's the correct one, and then I say Accept. And there's the signature on the end of my cursor. Click where I want to put it, resize it a little bit to make it clearer, and it's done. Next time you wish to use the Place Signature, you will find that that is stored for you every time. So you'd never have to do that again. You don't have to go through this process again. You can use it as many times as you want. So there we are. So now we're going to have a look at some more of the great features built into our Adobe PDF Reader. We can look at notes, graphics, initials, stamps, and searching for text. So here we are again with our test PDF form, and now John Smith has filled out his first name and last name using the text function. But imagine this is a document that we've received from somebody in an email, and we want to put commentary against various areas of the document. There's a whole list of things that we can do. First of all, in annotations, you can see there's an item called Sticky Note. And if I get that on my cursor by clicking on the icon, I can drop the icon on the screen where I want the note to apply, and I get an area to type my text. This is a note. If I click away from there, you see that the text box goes away and the icon stays on the screen. So I can put my cursor over the icon and read what the note is. Also, you will see that you get a date and a timestamp of when that note was done. So if I double click on that, you can see date and time of when the note was applied. Also, clicking on the icon and getting the blue border around the outside will allow me to delete the item. So if I press delete on my keyboard, that will go away. Other things we can do is simply highlight text, very straightforward, and take it off again. Writing text we've already seen previously. Now, adding stamps is an interesting one. In stamps there's a selection of stamp types. I think dynamic are very interesting ones because the dynamic stamps, you see they're preset, revised, reviewed, received, etc. But they have your name, the date and the time attached to them dynamically. So it knows who you are from your login, and then it can attach the stamp with that information on it. So if I choose approved, I can say that I've approved this document. I might not want that stamp to be so big, so I can drag in the corners and make it a smaller one there. So that area, whatever it might be, I've approved that bit. Once again, in dynamic, I might just want to say I've reviewed rather than approved. I can come over here, say I've reviewed, click on my stamp, reduce the size, move it around, etc. Again, very useful. If you're ever stamping anything manually, then you've got to print the document out, you've got to apply a stamp to it, you've got to scan it back to yourself and then send it back to somebody again. Using this functionality, you don't have to do any of that. Again, for forms, these type of stamps are very interesting. You can say, well, let's have a signature. We want to highlight the places where somebody has got to sign. So they can put their signature in and then click on the sign icon and then select delete, and away it goes. So witness, sign here, and initial here. Initials are quite important, and we'll talk about those a bit later. And of course we've got the tick and the cross, so yeah, done a good job there, give it a tick. Other areas that you might wish to choose, things like underlining the text. Choose underline, choose a piece of text, double click, and it underlines it. So you can experiment with some of these yourself and think about ways that you can use these to save time and printing and paper storage and so on in the future. The drawing markups are fairly self-explanatory, but I'll just show you one or two. You can draw an arrow, move it around to wherever you want, just grabbing it with your cursor, resizing it, that sort of thing. Put a square around something, just draw the box, and there it is. You can choose a free flow pen, so now I'm just drawing on the screen. There we are. To get rid of it, if you don't like it, click on it and delete it. Now most of these items will have an option where you can change colours and things like that. So for instance, the pen, I can right click, look at the default properties and things you can do with the pen. Well, clearly you might want to change the colour, so we'll have blue. Same with your underline. What colour do you want to underline? We can change that from green to red, etc. So all of these tools will enable you to do similar things. Now earlier we mentioned about the initial function. Now just imagine that you've received a 100-page document as an email, and it's like you're purchasing a house or filling in a contract or something like that, and you have to initial each page of the document. Now what normally happens is you print the document out and scan it back to yourself, and in doing that you have created a picture, a photograph of each page of that document that you've put your initials on when you've scanned it back to yourself. And that gives you a couple of problems. One is that you lose the ability to search for text, and the other one is that the file that you get is far bigger than the one you started with, the text file that you started with. So when you try and email it back to somebody, it's too big to email. But here we could go through every page on the document and put some initials in. So type my initials. I'm going to be John Fred Smith, and you can change the styles however you wish. So I'm accepting that as a representation of my initials, and I'm going to initial the bottom of the page, and I could go through every part of the document, every page, doing the same thing. And when I'm finished, I can go to File, Save, and change it to whatever I want. So we'll have John's contract, and save. So you see I've got a nice new document. It's got all the annotations, signatures, initials on it that I want. Still a text document, and I'll show you why that's important in a minute. Still a document that I can email to somebody and send it back to whoever requires it. Let's have a look then at that reason why it's so important to save these documents with text, so they've got text inside them, rather than scan them that just creates a picture. So imagine this is a 100-page document and I want to find every occurrence of the word John. So I can go to Edit, Find, and type in the word John and press Next. And immediately it highlights the first occurrence of the word John. I can say Next and it would go and look for another one or tell you it's finished the search. Similarly, I could try Name. Find me an occurrence of the word name. You see it's found the first one. Say Next, it's found the second one. So again, if you've got a 100-page document, the last thing you want to do is to print that and scan it back to yourself, because you lose all of these facilities that enable you to find information very quickly. Thank you for watching the Craig Mostyn Group 15-minute learning.